Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Woman to Woman show on the New You Nation Network. It is Monday. What is it? Is this the second Monday or third Monday in March? I feel like the year is flying.
I believe it's a third,
It's
but
the third.
All right, so we are here for another episode of the Woman to Woman show, and we're going to get started as we normally do. So, Gina, I'm gonna let you kick it off by introducing yourself and saying what you're grateful for.
Hello, y'all. I am Regina Howard Norman, and well, I'm just gonna go right to what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that we're here this evening, that we are together, and I'm looking forward to a rich, robust conversation.
Oh,
That's it.
nice. Okay. All right. Um,
I
Regina.
go next. Okay, hi, my name is Regina Booker, the owner of Season and Fabulous. And I am grateful for that we are safe and sound
Okay.
in this kind of weather we had today. Um,
Yeah,
it's the
the
first
weather
time
was
I've been in
all.
North Carolina, and I heard the sirens go off. A little scary,
Oh,
but
you heard sirens?
yeah, the tornado
Wow.
sirens. Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, okay.
But
I did get
now
a
it's so windy. It's so windy right now. My house is shaking. So in case I get knocked out,
I did get the alert on my phone, but I didn't hear a
yeah, I got
siren.
the alert, and shortly after I heard, because in my area it was likely to touch down.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
yeah,
All right. Yeah. We got.
but I'm grateful that everything is safe and sound. I didn't lose power, although right now I could hear the wind like swishing against my
Mhm.
house. So, but God is good.
Yes.
Listen, we not going to claim anything, but God is good. That's
Mhm.
it. All right. What? Okay. So I am Theodore Carter. I am a certified life and career coach and HR consultant, and I am grateful for another day. I am grateful that God is a healer. Um,
Hmm.
I am grateful, like Regina said, that, with this weather that has been windy and rainy and stormy,
Hmm.
that
Mhm.
I did not lose power and all of that other stuff. And that, so far I haven't heard of any like real tragedies that have happened because of the weather. And I'm grateful to be here again, like you said, Gina, tonight. Just another opportunity to share and talk and hopefully drop a nugget or two that might help somebody tonight. And so, with that, we can get started with our topic, which is single in this season. Whatever season you find yourself in, single, married, divorced, in a situationship, it's complicated, right? Whatever the situation is, for those who are listening, we're just going to talk a little bit about what our experience have been, where we're at, and what we're looking forward to or not looking forward to. And so, this conversation really is for anyone that is in any phase of singleness, married, situationship, like I said. And so we'll get started. And what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about how we've grown, right, in relationships, right, and where we're at. And so I guess for me, I'll start by saying, as you have gotten older, has your perspectives on relationships changed over time?
Absolutely. Mine have changed in a lot of different ways. I think when we start off in relationships, I'm currently married, and
Mhm.
uh, my husband and I have been together for over 30 years,
Mm.
and I've known him for almost 40.
Okay.
And what I've realized is that we go through different phases of growth and learning ourselves, learning each other. Um, Raising a family, there's always the challenge of balancing being responsible as a parent, as a mom, uh, and all the things, all the different hats you have to wear.
Mm.
Um, and one of the things that can get lost is the relationship, because everything is around the kids, work, juggling, the different responsibilities, and the challenges that may come up around finances and, um, you know, sometimes the communication.
Mm.
And I had to realize that sometimes when there was a communication issue, sometimes I was quick to be like, well, that's not on me, right? But as I've gotten older, I've realized, well, hey, now, uh, no one is always wrong and no one is always right.
Mm.
And so I've started to appreciate that what I would call a strength. You know how sometimes we have things that are strengths, but on the other extreme of that strength, it could
Mm.
be a weakness. So I've
Yep.
had to look at how I communicate and really, we've talked about love languages and stuff like that, but there's also those things in relationships. So as
Mm.
I've grown over the years in my marriage, I've seen that, I could have done some things differently. So I've learned how to stop looking outward in regards
Mm.
to what I want, what I feel I should have, where I think I should be. Because if I'm doing so much, it, am I making myself the victim, or am I happy? But where am I looking for that happiness? So even though I am married and I love my husband, I've realized that if I look for him to be the source of my inner strength, that's not okay, because then what if he does that with me, right?
Mm.
So I'm just looking at the levels of maturity over the years that I've had to have. And if anyone's been married for an extended period of time or been in a relationship for a long period of time, there's ebbs and flows. There's times when things are going really well, and then there are times when you're like stuck. You're frustrated about a particular thing, and
Mm.
the thing of it, the magic is to fight through it so you could end up on the other side together.
Mm.
And it's sometimes depending on what it is, it could be challenging. But what I do know is that I'm committed unless I'm being thoroughly dealt with in a way that's just too much for me to handle and I'm not being treated, um, mental, emotional, financial, and all those things. But if it's something that we can work through together, I think the magic is when you see people come through the other side. And I used to always think when I was initially married, I used to see couples in my church and they've been married 35, 30, 40 years. I'm like, oh, wow, y'all look, you look so happy. Wow, and they would
Mhm.
be like, girl, please, you don't know what we've been through. I don't dealt with this, that, and the third, but we worked it out. I was like, oh, you mean it could be like that? So
Yeah.
I'm all like, hey, y'all got the perfect this, and then it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, sugar, it's not that. It's work. It's a whole job. So you over
Yeah.
here thinking that everything, you're gonna have to hold on to that concept of, oh, y'all look so great. No, honey, it's work. It takes
Yeah.
work to be in this relationship. It takes work to be married to the same person for X amount of years, and
Mhm.
and to say that we haven't had challenges. So now the love that I'm looking for in my relationship and also dealing with me is loving myself enough to own some of my stuff, own the stuff that's good and the stuff that I need to work on. Because if I'm going to have a conversation with my husband about something that I have a
Mhm.
disagreement about, I have to first check me.
Mhm.
and I've learned how to be quiet. And I mean, I think I'm uh, I don't know if I'm an extrovert per se, but I don't mind being quiet. But
Mm,
I've used to be very defensive. Like I felt like
mm,
I had to, I come from strong women, and we didn't take no, you know, so you're not gonna talk to me, kind of blankety blankety
mm,
blank blank type of stuff. That's where Pookie, me and Pookie got a little relationship. So I had to learn that you can't bring Pookie to the conversation sometimes,
yeah.
right? And so, and the level of maturity says Pookie got to grow up too,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can't just be flipping and doing this and that and the other because words do hurt. Words
Mm,
don't last long, right?
yeah.
And or you could say, well, was that for me or not for me?
Yeah.
So before I get now, loving my husband is different because I'm learning how to appreciate me better. So
Mm,
it's changed over the years, and through the rough spots we've had, some rough patches, I had to say, well, but I love him,
mm-hmm.
and I promised before God that I would do everything in my power that's I can do to be in this marriage until all those options have been uh,
Mm,
addressed, and that's no longer an option.
mm,
And like I said, we've been together for over 30 years, and I've known him for almost 40.
mm.
So, yeah, and that's a long time to spend with someone. But I will say this. Some people stay in a relationship because they feel like they invested so much in it, and to walk away, they would feel like a failure. I'm going to say this because there were times when I was questioning and thinking about stuff, and I'm quite sure he has too. But you don't stay in a relationship because you feel like you already invested. Because what happens is you're still pouring into something that you feel that's not working, but you got this thing about being ashamed of what other people going to think. Going to think. Love yourself. You have to love yourself enough to say it doesn't matter what people think. It matters where I am and how I'm living in my life because they're
Mm,
not. So, if you're in a relationship and you're being loved or you're going through a phase, you know when it's a phase or you know when it's something that's really like a problem. The thing is, loving yourself in this season means that you have to take the hard looks.
mm,
You have to be able to have the uncomfortable conversations. I was looking at Viola Davis on Instagram the other day. She was being interviewed, and she was asked a very personal question. And the interviewer said, well, how do you feel about this particular topic? And she said, I like to have the uncomfortable conversations because that's how you get to the other side of healing. And I was
mm,
like, wow, that's deep. I said,
mm.
I need to be able to have those uncomfortable conversations as well. Loving yourself enough to have those uncomfortable conversations so that you can heal. So that's part of where I am right now in this season. For
So I'm just gonna say the show is over because
I,
you done dropped all the nuggets, right? Like
I, well, you didn't stop me, Theo. You didn't
so,
stop me.
so
Regina,
I
you didn't
mean
jump in. You
I,
didn't jump
I
in.
was because I was like, okay, married people, if you listening, and even the single people. So if you're waiting to be married, learn to stop looking outward and look inward. There's a level of maturity that you gotta put into the relationship. You gotta loving yourself enough to appreciate, your partner, right? Fighting through it, right? I'm like, wait a minute, she done she done dropped all these nuggets, right? So
I was, I was,
we're gonna come back to some of it because now we're gonna go to Regina and let her talk about the singleness, and then I feel like the whole show, y'all done did the whole show.
I'm just a single girl hanging out. That's it. I'm,
But the thing that I was thinking about when you were talking about fighting through it and all of that was me and one of my other friends who's single, right?
Mhm.
We always say now, like as we have gotten older, the one thing we think about is when we're in the situation, right?
Mhm.
Are we committed to the commitment? Right? Because that's what it sounded like. It sounded like everything you were saying as
Right.
you and your husband have navigated, right, life and
Right.
whatever. It seems like you made a decision that
Yes.
you are committed to the commitment, what makes you do the work, right? And so now Regina said, but Regina just said she's a single girl hanging out. So let's see what she hanging out and doing. What you hanging out doing, single lady?
Before she give us her single hanging out stuff, I'm committed to commitment with my husband.
Yeah, no, that's what, of
Right.
course,
Yeah.
of
Not
course.
just the no, but sometimes people are committed to commitment.
Oh yeah, no,
uh,
you committed to commitment with your relationship.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. I want to know what the sing because listen, I need some tips from the single lady that's out here hanging out.
She
yes, that's
outside,
the
as the young
thing.
people say.
Yeah, I'm outside doing my thing.
Go
My
ahead, girl.
thing, you know. I'm waiting for no, and nobody can talk to me crazy because I'm enjoying my singleness. I had to get to that though. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I didn't necessarily chase anybody because, but I never, I've had lonely moments,
Mm-hmm.
but I respect myself enough to not to settle. So
Mm,
where I am right now is I enjoy my singleness, whatever that is. I
okay.
do what I want to do when I
Mm-hmm.
want to do it, and I'm not sitting around waiting or baiting or trying to look for a man. To me, it's going to happen organically or not. If God sends somebody for me, good. If He doesn't, I deal with it, and I'm patient with it, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm embracing it. So I do things what I like to do. I dance. I have my organizations that I'm in. I enjoy working with my students. I enjoy hanging out with, brunches with my some friends, uh, whoever, whatever I need to do. I love to
You
walk.
travel.
Yeah, I travel. So I learned to love myself and not feel pity for myself
Mhm.
because I am single.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who I am right now. So I respect myself enough to love myself, not to
Mm,
get caught up in the streets and trying to like throw myself on someone or accept something below my boundaries or standards.
mm.
So
So what have you learned about yourself doing this during this season of singleness? Like what is something that you feel like you've learned about yourself doing this season?
I learned that it's okay to be single. It's okay to be by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I um, I try not to. I try to enjoy the soft parts of me
Mm-hmm.
or learn the soft parts of me. So if I am get, get somebody, I don't have to be uh, that strong woman, not necessarily strong, but doing everything. So when you're by yourself so long and then someone comes in and try to help you, you, well, at least me, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's okay. Even with my kids, sometimes they'll say, well, mom, I'll do that. I'm like, that's okay. I got it. So, so I have to, but it's not being me. I'm just so
Yeah,
used to
you
doing
used to
for
doing it for
myself.
yourself.
So the thing that I have to learn is to be soft in the
Mm-hmm.
in the presence of a man if they're trying to open a door for me, open a car door for me, or help me with something that I know I could do myself, but that's
Mm-hmm.
what I have to learn. Because
And
I'm quick to say, I got it.
but no, that's good. I think I had this conversation with some friends on last Thursday, and we were talking about just that whole reality of the fragrance of a woman, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
really who we are as women, because like you said, when you are in this state of singleness for so long and you get used to doing stuff for yourself, like when you do run into the dude that wants to open your car door, you're like, you want me to wait while you open my car door? Like that's not me. Like me, I'm like, I don't mind. But that came up how some were like, you know what, I'm, you don't, you're no longer used to that. You're no longer used to them, somebody doing something for you because you've been doing it so much for
Mm-hmm.
yourself, right? The running joke they have with me is like, I'm like, yo, I'm not that person. Like, come, I need you to take my car to the car wash. I need you, I need you to, I'm looking for somebody to do it for me before I'd say I'm gonna do it for myself when it comes to like hanging stuff up or doing stuff and all of that. But I do think that's important to recognize that, like how you said it, learn the soft parts of
I
yourself.
like that.
I love that because I do think that when you are single for a long period of time, you can lose that. And it's not that you
Mm-hmm.
don't have the ability to be soft, but it's like, I've been doing this all this time. I don't really need you to do it. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
that I love that. And I also love how you say, you still do, you like, you just, you do, right? Like
Yeah.
you go, you have activities, you do things. And I think
You
I
live
think
your life out loud.
exactly. And I think
I
that's
do.
important. I think that's important because I can honestly say, like the younger me in those ages where I was loving love more than I was loving myself, I was so focused on being in a relationship, right? That I wasn't like, I was more focused on that, right? I think I think when I hit like certain when I decided, I was like, you know what? If I sit here and keep waiting for the man before I buy my own home, it may never happen, right? And so then
Mm-hmm.
I said to myself, I want to own my home by 40, whether I'm with somebody or not, right? So I bought my first home at 36, right?
Okay.
But think of how many women are waiting for the husband or the man before they go out there and do that, right?
Right.
But there was a time, when I was like, yo, I'm waiting for, and I've been married before, like you've been married before, Regina, right? But I think it is something to think about when you're thinking about how am I navigating singleness, but also how am I navigating being in a relationship? How am I navigating being married? Because like you talked about, as you grow with your mate, you both are evolving.
Yes.
And if you're not conscious of the connection, you could evolve separately as
Right.
opposed to evolving together.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and
So
as being married, what I learned and what Gina just spoke about,
Hmm.
when you're married, no matter what, if you took a, well, I got married with a pastor, so I took
Hmm.
a oath to God,
Hmm.
so I was charged to be a wife. So even in our problems at that time, what I've learned is I was still charged to be a wife until the end. And I look back on it some of the times I was so angry. I wasn't, because you're gonna do that, so I'm gonna do this. That's not right. But it
Mm.
took me a long time, like Gina said, that's working through. So I never got
yeah.
to the working through, or we never got to the working through. Maybe
Mm.
if we could have, I mean, it was a lot of issues. At the end of the day, we ended up being best friends, but it took a long time. But we was divorced by then. But
Mm.
we had the kids that kept us together with the glue that kept us together. That's why when my ex-husband passed, it was so difficult because we had became pretty much
Mm.
best friends. And so and that was something which I'm starting to understand. I think I still don't really have it all grasped
Mm.
that he was a soul tie to me. I think
Mm.
still don't understand soul ties. So it's hard for me to even say that, but the more that people talk about, and it's not a sexual thing, it's just
Right.
that you're so tied to that person that I really
Mhm.
couldn't move on in my singleness
Yeah.
because it
Mm.
was always someone would always put us as a couple or anyone trying to get. And I had one guy tell me,
Mhm.
he's like, "You're not over your husband, so you can't date." And I was listening to him, I argued him down that I was. He said, "But you guys do this and this and this." I said, "So what?" But I also
Mhm.
learned that you can't tell a man, even if you
Mhm.
do have a relationship, there's something about that they don't want to hear that. They can't handle that. And that's
Yeah.
hard too. So
Mhm.
what I had to learn that when well now it won't happen because he's passed, but you can't bring another person, your ex, into your relationship.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that
well,
won't
I said,
happen.
well, it won't happen now, but
Yeah.
I mean,
We know what you meant though, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
we got you.
but had
Yeah.
I done that, but I've learned that. So
But but
that's a
but I
part of.
think that's also because I think a lot of people think that men and women can't just be friends,
Mm-hmm,
right? And so I think when you meet some men and some women, if you tell them like you have a healthy relationship with a different gender, it's like they can't believe that, right?
mm-hmm,
Because, and I don't know if that's their own insecurity or whatever, but I know people who literally believe that men and women cannot be friends. And I'm like, men and women can just be friends,
mm-hmm,
Right.
right?
I,
So,
but again, that has a lot to do with communication, right?
mm-hmm,
And having an openness and an
mm-hmm,
understanding, because sometimes it's not so much about insecurity as much as it is saying we didn't establish this as part of our relationship,
mm-hmm,
right? Because when you have someone that's a best friend, you used to a guy having guy friends and girls having
mm-hmm,
girlfriends, and there's different levels of what you confide and share and such.
mm-hmm,
But when you have, like, if I have a really good friend that's a man, so then, so what am I sharing with him that I'm not sharing with my husband,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
And if my husband has a really good woman friend, so what are you sharing with her that you're not sharing with me?
mm-hmm,
So I think it has to be a level of openness where if he's your friend or she's your friend, like let's say I'm married and my husband says, "Oh, I got this person. We've been friends for like we go back like two sticks on the same tree." Well, okay, then I need to see this stick, right?
It's
And
a
I need to get to know this
Come up with
stick.
some friends, don't she?
All
But
right.
you know what? Not to cut you off, but that's so true because I will tell you, my best friend, one of my best friends is a male, and I remember when he started dating the woman that is now his wife, and they were getting
Hmm.
serious. The first thing he did was introduce us.
Right.
And he was like, "Hey, this is my friend. We've been friends. We work together." Da, 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 da. And so I knew she knew of me, and
Right.
I knew of her. It wasn't like all of a sudden they're married and now you got a new like. There's a difference between someone that has been there and then someone that now they're
Pop up.
a
Right.
new friend, right? They pop up because I can see how that could be a little different. Right now, we've been married 20 years and now you got a new friend, right? That I
Right.
never heard of. But I think also why it also works for me is like when he got married, I realized the friendship
Mhm,
needed to shift. It doesn't
mhm,
mean we were no longer friends, but the way we communicate, like I'm not calling you like I used to call you. We're not
mhm,
Right.
hanging out. We used to hang out
mhm.
because I have a respect for your wife. And when we did hang out, it usually would be I'm going into an event where him and his wife are, right?
Right.
Right.
You know,
Mhm,
Right.
that like it's that
mhm,
respect. Like I will honestly tell you, and people think it's crazy. Most of my friends who are married, they're in my phone husband and wife, even if it's
Right.
just the wife number of the, if I end up like it's both of them, like they're both there, right?
But
Because I
that's the
think,
level of respect.
yeah, but
Mhm,
that's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I think there's also a level of respect that the
mhm,
friend of the other gender has to have for the
Right.
relationship.
mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have a friend, what I met at church, and he became my little brother. He would call me little sis. I called him,
Mhm.
no, he called me, yeah, whatever. I called him little brother, so I was his big sis. So he got married, and he used to call me from time. He didn't call every day, but we had a
Mhm.
relationship. And if he called me about something or want to talk something through, I talked to him. But as soon as he got married, it's like, mm-mm. And we're friends on Facebook. And sometimes, and I used to, before he got married, I would
Mhm.
send him a comment on something. I'll put a heart on it.
Mhm.
I put a smiley face because I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't want nothing
Mhm.
to come. And our birthdays are like a week apart.
Mhm.
And that's how we've been again getting really
Mhm.
close because our birthdays.
Yeah.
So that's how we ended up calling each other that.
Mhm.
And he would have problems and he would call me and talk to me about things and we would pray together and things like that. But I still love him. He'll love
Mhm.
me. And then we do have a group chat because we were all
Mhm.
in a group together at church. And in that chat, we all put that we love each other.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's fine. But I had to stop. I mean, like you said, I no longer reached out to him, you
Yeah.
know, because he has a wife. I had to respect his wife. His wife doesn't
Exactly.
know. She knows me, but she doesn't know me.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and like my friend's wife, like me and her developed a relationship, right? Where we have each other's numbers and stuff like that. But even with that, it's not like I'll talk to him on his birthday. He'll call me for my birthday. Every now and then we might be like, hey, I haven't heard from you, whatever. But it is not like you said, there's a level of respect.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think what happens is when individuals don't establish that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the stick, right? All of a sudden, hey, there's the stick, right? And
Yeah.
you're
Mm-hmm.
Like
like,
where you like
you're like, where did stick come from,
I've
right?
been looking at this tree all my life. That where you from?
Yeah.
What part of the tree you from?
So that does make, um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's crazy because I look at like my pastors, first DeForest stories and First Lady Donna stories, like just their relationship, right? And I love that I've had pastors that honor their wives from
Yes.
the pulpit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so and then you get to see the healthy dynamic of their relationship, and they're not in no way saying it's perfect, but that they love their wife, and they're
Mm-hmm.
present and they respect them, and and like even like which I probably need to buy their book, but my current pastors, they wrote a devotional. It's called 21 to 1 That's Beating the Odds for a Healthy Marriage devotional, right? And I keep saying I'm gonna buy it because you don't have to be married to appreciate a book about marriage or a devotional about marriage, right? So
Yeah, and I think
That's a,
especially if you want to be married again and
mm-hmm.
you're looking at people that are winning in that area,
yeah,
well then I want to see what the winners are doing,
exactly.
Yeah,
you
there
know?
was a book, not a book. When I first moved down here, well, am I? I'd never heard of this before. There was a wives club. I was like,
A
no,
wise club.
yeah, something. I think it was called club, but it was some wife thing, wives club or something. I said, what is that? And I thought it was like a little hangout the girls went hung out or something. But it actually was, it was a like a class where
Mm,
this woman started it and she taught women how to be a wife
mm,
and
Wow.
spiritually. And I thought, I was like, wow, I never heard of that. And then I heard it like a couple of more times. And I said, is this a thing that's down in the South or something? Because I never heard of this before.
you like what the Southerners doing because we ain't
Right,
doing
right.
it.
I was like, wow. when I first heard it, I was talking to the girl, and that's part of that was part of my e group. We were all in a welcome thing, and she told me she went. I was drilling her. I said, "So what do you do there?" So,
You
I
was like,
got
I
my
need to. You was like, I need to know if this is a club, a coach. What
yeah,
is it?
oh, what I said, teach you how to be a wife. She said, yeah. And guess what?
But you know they do say, right? They do say
Hmm.
if you want, like, you hang around the people that are
Hmm.
doing what you want to do.
Hmm. And guess
Right?
what? About a year later, she became a wife. So I was like, oh, that stuff like
Oh,
Wow.
oh, and she was
but
teaching. She was teaching the class, and she wasn't even a wife yet.
no, she was in the class. It was a
She
ladies
was
Oh, she was in the
in the
class.
class.
okay.
She was one that told me because we was doing something. She got I got to go to the wives club or whatever it was called. I don't know if it was called a club, but I know it was a wife something.
Mhm.
And then I asked her, "What is that?" Because I thought it was like a
So did you
little
ever?
like
So did you ever go?
no, because I had no interest in do. I was because I was skeptical of it. I was like, "What is that?" Like I never heard
Yeah.
of it.
So so would you go now? Like if
I
we
would
found
now because now
if
I
we
know
found
better.
a
But
wives
when
club?
I still was in my feelings when I came. I've
Oh,
grown a lot. Like I
Yeah.
oh,
said, um, it's little things that I've even learned in women conferences. Now, if
hmm
you listen to the mothers and stuff,
Yeah.
you better take those mothers' advice wisely because they know.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and just one girl, she says, yeah, my husband likes to. No, she was a girlfriend. I don't even need, but she said she's trying to get to be a wife. So she says, I know he like I put his mug in the refrigerator, in the freezer, so when I pour his drink, it's cold. I was like, what? So you know me, I was making
Yeah,
faces.
I was gonna say, you was failing. You was failing the whole class in the club. You
So I said, why do you do that?
because she found out what her man liked and she was doing it.
I learned that's what I'm telling you. I learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know when I was a wife. I didn't know these
Yeah.
things.
But it's something, right? Because
Yeah, because
you think about it, like how have your expectations changed in as you've grown, right?
yeah, I know what to do in a relationship now. Maybe I should join the wives club. I don't know if they have. I don't think I got it all the way together. So
So listen, so Gina, next time you
Yeah.
talk, you're gonna be like,
yeah, exactly. Gina can teach it.
we found the wives. Now, but here's the question: at these wives clubs, do
They
they talk
was
about
spiritual.
where
It
you
was letting
meet?
through my. It was spiritual. It was spiritual. Let's
Okay,
not make no mistake. It wasn't no just
it
people on the
wasn't no, it
street.
Right,
wasn't no,
right.
There
it
wasn't no
wasn't
people
like
on the
a,
street trying to
it wasn't a singles like
No, it was
mix
it
and
was it was
mingle.
spiritual based. It was spiritual based. So
Okay.
But
I
that's
just
what
had
happened
never
to
heard of
me
it. So
when
But
I
do
I
was
they
didn't.
going
talk about where you find, like, okay, so once you have all of this knowledge about being a wife, where you the husband's supposed to find you, where you got to be for him to find you.
Aisle
well,
number 6 and
I cannot out of
or go
six.
stand in laws and look and act out like a desperate. Like, why would he be taking?
Did she say aisle number 6?
Out number six.
All right. Okay, go
But
ahead, Gina. Go
no,
ahead. What you,
um what Regina said in regards to the spiritual retreats, that's where I went a few times, like a few years in a row. My
Mhm.
church had the women's retreats, and
Okay.
that's where I would listen to these. You know,
The seasoned
I'm like
women.
young, and I'm listening to these
Mhm,
seasoned women, and
mhm,
I'm all up in the clouds with the oh wow you because it was like a 3 day conference, right? 3 day
Yes.
mhm.
retreat. So the first day people introduced themselves, and the women said, "Oh, I've been married this amount of years and that amount of years," and I'm like, "Wow, she's been married for 30 years. Wow, she's been married for 35." And then I'm going back during the break, and I'm like, "Wow, that is so like." Wow, I hope to get there one day, and be all happy and stuff. They was like, girl, honey, let me tell you.
Mhm.
This is work.
Work.
Mhm.
It
And
is a
it
job.
is and stuff.
And
Mhm.
you know the wisdom that they gave, I didn't really, I think it kicked in when I was going, when my husband and I were going through a phase, right?
Mhm.
And then I remembered some of the things that they told me at the retreat, like seriously. And I started understanding that this was where the work was, because when
Mhm.
everything was good, it was good. And
Mhm.
aside from a little disagreement and stuff like that, we were doing okay, so it wasn't no big deal. We're raising the kids, so we're so busy running and
Mhm.
gunning, dealing with that, and there's things that come. Because one thing I will say to anybody that have kids, children, every year you get a new child until they get grown. Every
Mhm.
year you get a new personality, so you're always readjusting. So we're always dealing with that. So, but I thought, we were doing okay and stuff like that. But when we hit a hard spot, I was like, oh, this is where you got to put the work in. This
Mhm.
is where you have to decide, um, if you're going to tough out the rough patch, or if you're going to be like, man, I come from a women that don't deal with, So I
Yeah.
had to really, really process that, because
Yeah.
I was talking to myself and I was like, well, shoot, you know, I'm educated. I could do, I could get my own and do this and that and all of that. And, we'd be, and then it was like the Holy Spirit said, yeah, but you didn't just make a promise to your husband. You made a promise to the Father.
Mhm.
And so did you check with me to see if that was what you needed to
Mhm.
do? So then that's where, you know, you seek help if you need help. That's when I reached out to Trey. And, so there were things that I needed to do. So I had to do some work, right?
Okay,
Mhm.
so you did the work on yourself. Now, did y'all hit the rough patch like when you became empty nesters?
It was
Like,
close to that. Yeah.
okay.
I think it was close to around that time. And I was like, um, Cobra say, what? We've gotten through in my opinion, like raising children together, and coming through that on the other side. It's like, hey, now we can live our best life, not going back and forth with you, Sharon. But now
Okay,
it's
Brother
so,
Kelly,
We're not going back and forth with you, Sharon.
you see the song "She and Al number 6."
so I'm like, okay, so yeah, the kids, the last one getting ready to go away to college and stuff and all this and that, and it's like, and then we went through a patch, but that
That's
was
because you
where
guys didn't know each other anymore.
I was gonna
we
say it's because you were spending all that time raising
Mhm. On
kids,
the
and now
kids.
it's like,
well
what do we do now? Where the kids?
no, I mean that would have been cute if that was part of it, but it was more than that.
Okay.
It was more, yeah, so it was different, it was different things. But
Mhm.
what I realized is that I had to ask myself, am I going to um be willing to put the work in? Because now it's work. With the
Mhm.
children, it was like, this is what you do. You're a wife, you're a mother, you handle stuff and work it through, because you got these kids to get through stuff, right? So they gotta get through their stuff. So that means y'all gotta get through stuff,
Mhm.
right? But now the work was, okay, so the children aren't the things that we're working through or talking about or dealing with or trying to come together on how to manage this, that, and the third. Now it's us and other things, right? And so, sometimes people be like, well, yeah, we the kids is good now. We could be out, we could be done, like, because we did our job. They grown, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
But that's not all of it. If you really love a person, and nobody's perfect, right? And as you get older, there's going to be things you're going to love about a person, and there's things that's going to annoy you, but that goes both ways. So to sit down and make yourself look like, oh, woe is me, and there's no sense of accountability, or let's reestablish some, where's the love language, what, so what are the things that need to be fixed? So let me start with me. or
Mhm.
readjust it, because not always things need to be fixed as much as we
Yeah.
need to readjust some stuff.
Yeah.
So, and we're married and
Mhm.
still together and growing. I think there's a level of maturity. But I will say, and I said it earlier, if you are in a relationship or married and some people feel like, well, I don't want to let this go because I don't how it's going to look and what people
Mhm.
going to say, and you know come on now, let's tell the truth. We start looking at ourselves and say, hey, I gave you the best years of my life, my best self. I was, Coca-Cola bottle, pull up the place. And now it's like you're not doing that the same way, right? Okay, don't get me started. So
Yeah, no, little Pookie was.
I'm like, she's singing songs. Like,
so I'm just so it's like you have to say, okay, the one thing you don't want to do, and I made a promise and I did. I said I promised the father, I promised my husband, I'm not going to allow any outside influence determine my marriage.
mm,
So, no whisper in the ear. Nobody said, "Girl, you should." Say, "Girl, mind your business." So
Mm-hmm.
that's it. And,
mhm,
and the guys are like, if I was, but you're not. So
mhm.
go have a seat. Like, sit down,
Yeah.
because I know you, right? So stop. Right, let's cut it out. So it's understanding that the marriage is ours. It's not everyone
Mhm.
else's. So it's our
Yeah.
responsibility to do the work, to keep it, and to understand and to agree upon some things, and to also realize that yes, we have grown in different areas. How can those areas still be together? But also, it's totally cool to be able to be in your own space and do your own thing, because you don't have to do everything together all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need breathing room as well.
Mhm.
So, but it's having those conversations. It's saying, "Hey, I'm going to work overtime," or "I'm working late these days." It's
Mhm.
those basic things. So it's not like when you come home, where you been, or you didn't come home, so where are you? It's the communication, and I
Mm-hmm.
have to say, I needed to work on that,
Mm-hmm.
because this ain't Star Trek, and I'm not Spock, and he's not Captain Kirk, right? So I can't mind melt him like you're gonna get it. Like, hello, use your mouth, right? Use your words. But we tell kids,
Mhm.
use your words. So I
Right,
have to use my
exactly. Tell
words,
me that,
right?
use your words.
Use your words. You know what I'm saying? And be nice words now, nice words.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's important for anyone that's listening. This is the Woman to Woman show on the New You Nation Network, and we're talking about singleness in every season, right? So just
Yeah.
navigating love. And I think a lot of what Gina is saying is really important for those who are in that period of singleness, right? Because if you listen to some of the things she was saying, she's talking about emotional maturity,
Hmm.
right? She's talking about boundaries.
Yes.
She's talking about communication. And even Regina talked about it for when she was married, right?
Right.
And so I think it's important for single people to listen and say, hey, like getting back to Gina's wives club, right? There are some things you will learn, right? About how to navigate because you talked about, you and your husband, it wasn't perfect, but when you hit that rough patch, you made the decision, right, to be emotionally mature, to really think about doing the
Mhm.
work and having a commitment, not letting other people be involved in your relationship and be in your ear. Because it's funny how people will take advice. Married people will take advice from single people, right? Single people will take advice from people that are not in relationships. And then you find yourself, your relationship is messed up because you let somebody in it
Right.
that can't really even tell you from their experience, right? So I think it's important for anyone listening to listen to, if they want to be married, to listen to some of the gems that you're dropping.
I say
Mhm.
this one thing too. If you're gonna listen to anybody in your marriage or your relationship, you listen to God.
Mhm.
Period. And if you're going to listen, listen to the wisdom of the ones that truly love and care about you, like your elders that have been there, experienced that, not from a place of hate, jealousy, or sabotage. So you have to really have discernment when you're seeking advice or even just wanting to unpack some of what you're dealing with, because some people are like the birds, they pick up and they carry. So you
Mhm.
need to be mindful, right? Because your relationship is sacred and it's not for table talk. So honor that, right? So if you're going to share because you really want sincere input, you be mindful to have discernment on who you share with and what's the purpose of that share. Okay?
Yeah.
You have to be mindful of that because you should not be disrespecting your mate to
Mm-hmm.
anyone else. You should not be disrespecting them and speaking in a disparaging way about who they are, because guess what? You chose them.
And,
Mhm.
and that's so important because I remember, so like my aunt and uncle were married
I'm gonna put my glasses back on.
literally
I knew
to
you took them glasses off to say something. I said, "What's she about to say?"
I know, right? My my aunt and uncle were married like literally to death do you part, like for 67 years,
Mm,
right?
beautiful,
And
beautiful.
I remember, I can't even remember, I don't know if it was 64th year, but we were at one of our family reunions and one of my cousins was engaged and she asked my aunt, she was like, well, how does it make it work? Right? Like they were still married. He was still alive at that point. And it was so funny because my aunt just turned around and she was like, it can work. And we all were like
Like, okay, what does that mean?
where's the rest, right? But basically, I think she was saying what you said, but just in a limited amount of words. Is like it's work and it can work,
Yeah.
but you got to do the work.
Yes.
Right? Like we got all of that from it can work, but
Yes.
I think essentially, I mean, what she was saying was it can work, but you gotta put in the work. You gotta, and I think there has to be a level of respect
Yes.
for, like, I
Yes.
was always amazed at their relationship because there was a level of respect. They were friends, like they played pinochle together, they bowled together, but they also did things separately,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that was also key. But they also met like in high school, right?
Yeah. They
And
grew together as well.
yeah, because I remember like when she would tell the story about how they met, she was like they met in high school, and my uncle would laugh because he was like she literally would not date him unless he was going to class,
I love it.
right? Like she said, like Joker, you going, and so like you said, they grew together, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of that, but it is like it it is work whether you're married. But here's the thing, I think the most important thing for me is that I'm learning as I get older, right,
Hmm.
is it's not just work in a marriage, it's work in a relationship.
Yes.
If you
Mhm.
decide after dating and whatever, you decide that you want to be with a person, there's work. But
Yeah.
also, I would say at this big old age, it shouldn't take you 3, 4, 5, 6 years to figure out if you want to be with me.
I yeah. See, I'm with you on that. Like, bro, we on the other side of X number, so I'm not playing no games.
Yeah.
We are mature enough to know what we've been there, done that, been through. So if this is what you want,
Hmm.
I done checked you out. You're not crazy. You don't got no background I need to be scared of, and you done you done investigated me, and we done
Hmm.
did the health thing. Uh, if we are serious about each other, then let's be serious about each other.
Hmm.
I think sometimes we play that the waiting game,
Hmm.
and precious time is being wasted because it's like, are we 1 foot in or 1 foot out? Well,
Hmm.
since we haven't made any commitment, and what are we waiting for,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So I mean, man, stuff I could say it'd be another show, but I will say,
So we might need to have a part two. You're saying?
Well, I will say that one of the things about getting older is that you it's not a good idea to BS yourself about who you are and what you're up to.
Mm-hmm.
Because um giving yourself illusions, you kind of put that out there, and it's not really who you are. And you need to be your authentic self in relationships, and you need to be able, if you laugh, you like to laugh, if you like to look at a scary movie or not, you need to be your authentic self, because who else are you bringing to the table? One of my coworkers like to say that people bring
Representative.
their representative, right? And representatives are cute, but when you got to sign a contract, it's you that have to sign a contract, not your representative. So you
Mm-hmm.
need to make sure that you being your authentic self, because you want the real deal. You don't want a representative bringing up the rear, and then you find out the real deal is like not the representative.
Mm-hmm.
So be authentic. Um, to who you are, know what you like and dislike, but also we so caught up in, oh, I don't like this and don't like that.
Oh,
Make sure
Oh,
you're likable.
that's tough.
Make sure you're likable too.
make
If
sure you like yourself.
Yeah, but make sure you're likable too.
Yeah.
If you got all these expectations and you got this list, well, I hope you got a list for you, the things to work on. You out here,
Mhm,
well, come on now, go both ways. Come on, let's be fair.
mhm.
Be likable. You want things, be likable. Can they like you with your stuff? Just saying.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
you know what is crazy? Because I did hear this man say this once on a show where he was like, when he really started looking at himself, he started thinking, um, would I want to be
Yeah.
with me,
Right.
Mhm.
right?
Right.
And so what are the expectations that you have for this other person that you can't even measure up to,
Right.
Mhm.
right? I think
Right.
it's important. And so, believe it or not, we are at the top of the hour.
Oh, I
So,
believe it.
oh my God,
I'm almost out of whole bottle of water. I believe it.
this went fast. This went
Mhm.
fast. All right. So, ladies, your final thoughts on, single in this season. Um, wow, this went fast.
Yeah. Just be your authentic self.
Yeah.
Trust yourself. And as Gina said, and you said, be likable. That I love that because that's what I say. I can't expect, and this is what I believe, I can't expect no one to be what I'm not. So
Mm,
I'm asking for all these things. So we're gonna meet equally at the table. If I think you need to have a 6-figure job, then I need to have a six. If I'm asking you to do that, then I gotta do that. You should
mm,
want that from me. If I'm a health nut, then you need to be a health nut. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? You
yeah.
gotta be what, like you said, all these things you're asking for and all these
Mhm.
fictitious thing. And we're too old, and at this age, when we're younger, that's cute. I wanted a little chocolate man with this and that. His body gotta be like this, and he gotta be 6 feet tall. And
Yep, the list.
mm-mm. There's no list. The list is you. The list is doing the work on you, so you can bring that list to equal the other list.
Say that again. The list is you. Who are you showing up as?
Yes.
That's good. Like that's a good. The list
I like
is
that.
you.
I like that. The list is you.
The list
Yeah.
is you.
Yeah.
And you
Like
check off
who are
all
you?
your stuff you done worked on. Then you could
Right.
come and say something.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right, y'all dropping some gems tonight. Gina, what say ye? You,
take
you
off
Well,
keeping
them.
the, you keeping the
I,
glasses on and taking the
I'm,
glasses off.
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave them on because we almost over. We almost over. We almost over. We almost over. But what I will say is that we are at a place of knowing who we are, and we're continuing to grow, and that's a beautiful thing. But take that level of awareness into your relationship first with yourself, so that you can be authentic with yourself, and then with the person that you want to be with. Right. So we can say this is where I am. I'm still growing, but I'm pretty good now. and I'm continuing to grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want someone that's also doing that for themselves as well.
Mhm.
Like to feel like, hey, I'm good where I'm at. I'm made it. I'm solid. Well, maybe not. So just be mindful of that, and you know, and just be patient with each other. I always like to say, be patient with yourself because we're still learning and we're still getting things together, and be patient with each other because we don't know what people are dealing with. So sometimes you may
Yeah.
get a misrepresentation of who that person authentically is. Give them a chance to, you know, to reclaim their integrity. Like give a person a chance to have their integrity established versus boom. And
Yeah.
then, watch the actions as you listen to the words.
Mm.
Watch.
Right.
Watch the
Mm-hmm.
actions.
Yep. Action speak louder
Yeah.
than
So
words.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Let the words match their deeds.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. And so I will say, well, first of all, I'm just going to recap some of the gems that were dropped, which was learn to stop looking outward and look
Mm-hmm.
inward. Um, there needs to be a level of emotional maturity.
Yeah.
There needs to be healthy boundaries. Um, I think one of the things you said, Gina, which was critical, and Regina, you may have said this too, is taking the time to love yourself enough, right? So that you could appreciate not only yourself, but you could also appreciate your mate. Because
Yeah.
if you're looking for them to be your happiness, that usually is not gonna end
Mm-hmm.
well, right?
Right.
Um, Fight through it. So are you committed to the commitment? Meaning, are you committed to the commitment of the relationship that you are in, whether you're married or single, right?
Right.
And then the list is you. That is
Mm-hmm.
be
I like that. That
likable.
was yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Be likable, or the list is you. So when you start setting these expectations, when you start making a list of what the man needs to be, and trust me, coming from a one person that had a list and that didn't work out too well, I was right. But the list is really like I love that. The list is you,
The
right?
list is good.
Um, and then you talked about learning the soft parts of me. That was another
That
Mm-hmm.
one,
was beautiful.
right?
Yeah.
Learning the soft parts of you. So, and this is for the single people, learning the soft parts of you, because if
And
you've
the
been single
married
for
people
a while,
too.
Married too,
you're
because
married
you
people
could
too.
be, yeah, it could,
Yeah,
Married
because
because
you
people
can
too.
yeah, because you
mm-hmm.
can get to that point where you feel like you could do everything on your own. So whether you're single or married, whatever you navigate in,
Yeah.
learn the soft parts of you. So you learn how to be, you know, in that, I don't want to say feminine state, but that's what comes to mind. But
But
you
we are
learn how to
feminine as a
accept,
woman.
you
We
learn
We're
how
are
women. Hello, somebody.
yeah.
Yes,
So
feminine
you
state is
mhm.
great.
but some people get offended.
Well,
But
we
you
Well,
ain't
learn
worried
that's
how,
the
about
thing,
them.
because God made you to be a woman, and we are
yeah,
believers, so that's what's in the book, and
Yeah, I'm
that's what
not
it
worried
is. It
about
is
feminine,
what
but
it
we're not
is.
trying to offend nobody. Say what you gotta say. Yes.
and then learn how to you know, you said somebody said something about charge to be a wife. Like I think that was you, Gina. Um, like you were charged to be a
No,
wife.
I said
Oh,
that.
you said
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
when you got married,
Because
you charged.
when you get into those pit pats
Yeah,
and fights and stuff, you still charged to be,
yeah,
for instance, if you didn't come home or a certain time, or you was out with the boys and he came home, well, why dinner not on the table? Because you stop. And that's what
yeah,
I learned that through.
yeah.
I've learned that through the word
Mm-hmm.
and studying, as you don't do tit for tat
Right.
in
Okay.
holiness in the word
Yeah.
from a
So
spiritual point of
yeah.
view,
All right. So
which
that's
that's
another tip
yeah.
that you
Hmm.
giving you, and then what was another one? Um, there were so many gems dropped.
I'm gonna have
There,
to look at this again because we were saying so much stuff. I could,
there, there,
I
there were
just
so
gotta
many
go.
gems dropped tonight, but I will honestly say that navigating this single in this season, navigating life, love, and independence, right? We talked about being single, but there's also a lot of great gems that Gina, from a married point of view, dropped. Because here's the thing, for some of you women out here who are married, but y'all living like you're single, right? You need to watch this replay, right? And you need to really listen to some of the gems that Gina dropped, because I do think that sometimes we get to that state where, we're married, but we're operating like we're single, because we haven't really looked at what do we need to do to make sure we are evolving together. Because that's another thing,
Yeah.
right? People are like, oh, I'm gonna wait. You will never know the true essence of a person, because we are all grown. Well, the majority of us are all growing and evolving and learning.
Yeah.
So as we get older, we're changing, right? And so you have to be able to adapt and be flexible, right?
Yes.
When you are
Yes.
doing life with someone else. So that's another gem that was dropped. But I feel like we might have to have a part two on this conversation, because this was a really good
Mhm.
pour. And I think we might need to explore a little more about these wives clubs that, that Regina was talking about, right?
I've
do
heard
they
of
do
it.
they still exist in
I don't know.
2026?
Yeah, I thought it was a down south thing. I said, that's what they do
So
down here, huh?
so if anybody is listening, it let us know. Do wives clubs still exist?
Whatever. Yeah,
But
wives something. I think it was a club, but
yeah,
I know it's wives something.
but the real reality of it is
But
that,
like I said, my sister got married a year later, so it must have worked.
so here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you are tuning in, this is the Women to Women show on the New You Nation Network. We are about to sign off, but we appreciate
Yes.
you being here. If you're watching this on the replay, please like, share, subscribe to the network. But really and truly, there were a lot of good gems that were dropped. And I hope that somebody heard something that resonated with them. And until
Mhm.
next
Yeah.
time, until next week, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, please be well. And we'll see you again next Monday. All right.
Have a good
Good
evening.
night.
Bye for
Good
now.
night.